Hello, this is Sarah Mafia. I can't even do an intro with AJ.
I felt like Miss Cleo.
Have you seen?
No,
Okay,
and
I
I'm
haven't
the one
either.
that brought it
I
up.
know,
I'm like, let's watch Cleo.
I know when I saw it the other day, and I was like, I need to watch that. But anyway,
Call me now for your free tarot reading.
I think we should have a psychic episode on here, and we'll just read stuff.
We should have a medium.
Oh, that would be cool.
Like a, is there like?
And we'll just show them pictures and be like, good hair or bad hair. They're already.
Let's have a career medium. Okay, so quick story. Always on the search for love. You know, when will my life begin with? I don't know, a person at this point. Man, did you hear about that lady like marrying? Did you see me that the lady married her comforter? She said it's the best marriage she ever had.
Well, no, but she married the comforter and her boyfriend understood. That's all I saw. Yeah. I don't know if he stayed with her. I didn't even read the damn article. All I saw is that and boyfriend understood.
But is that a throuple or did she like break up with him?
I don't know if he's like, hey, it's all good, or if he's just like, okay, well, we'll be a throuple. I have no idea.
Also, there's this one with this lady married herself, had the whole ceremony, which I didn't get it. Like, is it like, what was that? It was maybe in Living Color. Remember when they like stand on one side be the girl and then the other side is like the boy or
definitely.
whatever? I was just like, what is that ceremony like? I saw pictures on like Daily Mail, but she ended up divorcing herself because she cheated on herself. She had sex with a man. I said, what? Like, you didn't like think in your mind like, oh, I consent to this. Like, I don't know.
Does she have multiple personalities?
I would think you kind of have to have something going on. But I don't know. This was back
pretty?
when, like, subjective.
Okay. I need to just marry something. I'm just gonna find something. Not someone, something. Anyway, your quest for love.
I'm married to the bag. No, I'm kidding. Well, I had a question.
Oh, what?
Did I have a question?
No, you said my quest for love.
Oh yeah, my quest for love is, I don't know. It's in the desert. I don't know. It needs its thirst quenched. I feel like talking about personal hair horror stories.
Okay.
This is in no way
Trying
to talk dookie about the Ultas and the Regises and whatever you may come across in a mall. Speaking of, another random moment, I'll stay on track this episode. I love Auntie Anne's. But how come that bitch doesn't have like a standalone restaurant? You can only find her in the mall. Have you ever thought about that?
I know.
Like, where's her drive-through?
She don't have one.
That wasn't a pun. But anyways.
I don't. And it's always like the weird malls. She's in every mall. But it's like,
is she a mall exclusive?
Maybe so. But even when Crossroads was open, she was like the last one standing. And I'm like,
yes.
Like she ain't going nowhere. Like she decided if Crossroads really did close.
She was slanging them pretzels.
It's good though.
It is. I love the little pigs in a blanket.
So hair horror stories?
Oh yeah. So once upon a time I had an afro. I went on this journey twice. Each bout I had like a 5-year stint. Loved it. Ton of work. Also had to like finagle a lot of events because if my hair wasn't dry, I just wasn't going out. I was a big fan of like doing 3-strand twist outs, whatever. So one day my mom was like, hey, I want you to barbecue. I don't want my hair to smell blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't want to barbecue. So I was pissed. And you know, sometimes when you're evil or have ill intention, I was going to burn all the stuff and be like, because you told me to cook and
like
I didn't want to.
Yeah,
like just not pay attention to it. Mm-hmm. And the fire wasn't hot enough. The teenager that I was like, let's play with fire. Just squirted it. It blew up. I walk in the house. And at this point, I like had combed my afro out. So it was just like free. And she was just like looking at me and I was like, what? She goes, what'd you do to your hair? I said, I ain't do nothing to my hair. Now, I didn't really talk to my mom like this because I wouldn't have any teeth. But in my mind, this is how I'm responding. And she's like, did you color your hair red? I said, no. And she goes, go look at your hair. I had singed my eyelashes, but the whole front of my fro just singed back. And I was like combing it and it was just like falling off.
No.
It was just, I was so sad. And I still blame her for that because I told her I didn't want to do it. But that's what happens. It was like instant karma. Because that barbecue was good.
Oh, it ended up being good?
Mm-hmm. I learned my lesson. I was heavily convicted as a kid. Probably because I was like in church all the time too. Now I can't hear his voice very well. Oh, yeah. My second horror story that I could think of my own is I was having fun with a hot comb or a pressing comb. You know, you like put it on the stove or there's like these custom ovens you can put it in. But if you don't know how to use it right, it gets too hot.
Right.
So I'm sitting up here like trying to straighten my hair with a hot comb, whatever. And I'm like, oh, this is taking a long time. I leave it on there extra long. And I take it to the my left side, left hand, and I hear.
You heard it? Oh my God.
Girl. It went straight and then it said, brr, like curl back up. And I pull the comb and you just see all this floppy hair singed to the comb.
How far apart are these stories?
I don't know.
Well, I didn't know if it was like, now my afro just got done growing out and then I did the hot comb accident.
Pretty much. Like, because it was like short and then I was like, because I think I actually got it cut. Like I had like a little taper and I looked like a light bulb. I loved it though. I had to like get it shaped and let it grow out. And then one time I like was holding on to dead ends and I had Raquel cut it. I said, just cut a little bit. She knew how precious my hair was. It was like to my collarbone all stretched out. I said, just cut the ends. And she just takes a comb and cuts above the comb. And I just let it go.
Why?
She didn't give a fuck about me. So yeah, there were some good times with my afro though. It was fun. I had.
Why not bring it back?
I don't know. It's a little thin up here. I know I need a little transplant.
Oh, please.
Basel Medical. Let's go to Turkey. Let's do it. Let's do a hair mafia overseas.
I'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
I was always messing up my own hair. I do remember I got suspended in 8th grade for smoking cigarettes in the bathroom. So, whatever. But
Lucy's.
I was like, no, I think they were Newports, to be honest. But so I was like, forget it. I'm just going to. No, it's the Nike swoosh green, menthol, mint.
Joe Camel would be Camels.
Yeah.
Stupid.
They do have those Camel Crushes, Camel Mints. Anyway, like I'm like a gas station over here. So whatever, I get suspended. My parents both worked and they were like, you better clean the house. I'm all in trouble. I'm like, okay, anyway. So I'm like still smoking cigarettes after they left. Well, I had this box. I had this hair dye box because I was always trying to do stuff with my hair. Mm-hmm. So you know how this is just going to go. So I'm just going to do the fast version. Man, I wish that I had a picture of this box, but it was so old. It was L'Oreal Lightener. So I put it all on my hair, the whole thing. The rest is history. I literally talk about brassy. People don't even know brassy. Like I wish that I had a picture of how I looked because it literally was orange juice all over, like all over.
That reminds me of PTO.
It would. That's a good. It was all even was the good thing. I did pretty good with that. So of course I come home, or my parents come home, and my mom's like, what are you doing? What happened? I'm crying. I'm like, I'm supposed to go back to school in 2 days. I'm going to look like, she's like, that's your own fault.
That was probably the best punishment you could have got.
I know. I'm like, this is what happens whenever I'm alone. I got the house clean and all that, but I was just bored. So anyway, I had orange juice hair. So if anyone's from Mustang listening, and if you're old enough to know, there was this, the salon still may be there, but anyways, it's called Fantastic Sam's.
Ooh, I've heard of them.
Well, they're kind of like a Well, they're like
chainish.
They're like a walk-in place.
Ooh, okay.
Or kind of. I mean, I don't think that you can just, but they're like a chain place, like a Regis, but just worse. Sorry, Regis. Well, there was this guy there named Juan. He was actually really good.
Yes.
Because that's who my mom went to. And he was super cute, super nice. And I always thought, Juan's like too good to work here. Because even back then, I was like super interested in hair. So my mom comes in and she was like, we need to do something with her hair. So the lady was like, if she wants to be blonde, we can make her blonde. Juan like went home for the day. So this lady, I want to say Lori was her name. She's smoking cigarettes in the salon. Like, while I'm like, damn, give me one of those. No, but I was thinking, this is weird. I'm like, this is strange. Like, why is she smoking in here? I think I was just smoking, just trying to rebel. It's not like I really wanted them, but she's just over here like, my boyfriend and I broke up. She's putting like she's doing a full bleach out on me and smoking with like a cigarette in her mouth. She ends up leaving the bleach on me for, I don't know, over an hour.
Dead.
It was not. It was pure. It was like, it was like hot yellow. It was like neon fluorescent
like
yellow.
Highlighter?
Yes. Like fluorescent yellow. I don't even know. And then I'm like, okay. I'm like, this basically just looks worse.
Were glosses good back then?
I don't know. Probably not. Because if we're talking about like 30 years ago or 25 years ago. So I'm like,
I was like, you were 3 when you did this.
So I wish. So I basically had like yellow straw hair. It wasn't fried, but it was just like shocked. You know what I mean?
Like
it
a
just
Twinkie.
I looked terrible.
Dang.
So I had to take 8th grade pictures like that. I'm gonna find the picture and I'm gonna bring it because I had to take my 8th grade pictures.
We should take some pictures of our hair and just like card stock them. Like, this is us.
Yep. So that's whenever I really knew that I wanted to do hair, after I totally fucked mine up. And then, and I ended up asking my dad, can I have $10? And I just dyed it back dark. I was like, I'm done. I won't do it. And I didn't. And I've like literally been dark ever since, except for the short period that I was platinum. But I've never tried to be a blonde after that. It just didn't work with my hair anyway. But
yeah,
that was kind of all of the hair horror. Oh, and I did have a hair horror story about a girl. I don't know. I went to hair school with her and I said, do whatever you want. And it was disgusting. It was like blonde and like OU, crimson and cream, fucking chunks and tons of layers. Tons of layers. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. But tons of, it was terrible. But anyway.
That story reminds me, I was in hair school and this girl came, young girl, 17, beautiful hair, whatever. Her highlights were just like, not to the root, splotchy, whatever.
Yeah.
And she was like, and it was her and her friend. Her friend was like, I'm going to sit here and see if you do a good job. If you do, I'll be back.
Okay, bitch. I mean, it's the hair school for one.
No, for real. And all they kept doing, they were on their puff bars or whatever and just whatever. And so
this is in the school? Oh, my goodness.
So I said, so what happened? And they go, we knew something was fucked up when the lady brought both her kids and kept yelling at them, stay in the back, the break room. And she said the lady was about to start there and she was like, I'm just stressed that I'll be back. And she brought back a can of beer and was drinking the whole appointment.
Oh my God.
And I wouldn't have believed it, but the other girl was like, yeah. And I said, okay, but y'all look like the type that would like cuss her out of leaving. They were like, well, she started. And we like realized
you're like, you're in here like giving me shitty looks saying like, you better do a good job.
Yeah. And I was like, you can't tell somebody quit drinking beer while you foil my hair. So
that's why I had to take the wine out of the old salon that I had. Literally, it wasn't for the clients. It was for the fucking, I'm like, why are y'all drinking?
Just toast.
They were going like next door to Louis and getting like wine openers. No, they would just open them. And I'm like, okay.
So they just took it to the head, just straight out the bottle.
Yeah. They're like, well, it was just like me and like my last client. Like nobody else was there. I'm like, okay.
How you getting home?
Exactly. Somehow I'm going to get blamed for you getting a DUI.
You get blamed for everything. So
I really do, honestly. So she opened a beer. Wow.
My stories, I didn't realize that they intertwine with yours. So about 2 Thanksgivings ago, this lady was like, hey, I went to Ulta and got my hair done, blah, 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 blah. Now, again, Ulta's a great store, whatever, but I've just like, just for the purposes of these stories and just context, to me, going to like an Ulta salon is like going to JCPenney.
Yeah.
Like in that realm.
Yeah.
Like they have a similar color palette. And I'm just like, but why would you? Or like going to like Smart Style at Walmart.
Yeah.
I'm just like, buy your product.
Ulta's
there.
great. Like they've got the great like leader sale.
Yes.
I mean, they really do. And if my clients don't want to buy something for me or us or whatever, I always say Ulta. I mean, really, no Walmart, no Target, no none of that other, no CVS, no whatever. But Ulta, I'm like, I trust them.
Like I want Ulta to sponsor me maybe one day. And I'm like, this isn't to knock the actual Ulta salon. But I'm like, have y'all ever seen it busy?
No.
Like I would love to see them like try and rebrand that and be like something great. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I never seen it. So I'm like, what just possesses somebody to be like, oh, let me just hop on over here.
Well, I feel like that they do have a great, everything. But just even from the hairstylists that I've known to go there, I think that the managers who do it don't do hair.
That's
you know what I mean? And
issue.
it's like way less education. You know what I mean? They're just like here.
And there's time constraints. I think there's only so much they can do. And so when people actually come in there and ask for something, they can't deliver, not necessarily for a lack of ability. It's just like, I'm not like allowed to do that. Kind of like dry bars. Like we can only do these certain kind of curls.
Yeah, definitely. And not to knock Dry Bar.
Right. This is
a great company.
So this lady comes and she's like sending us all these pictures. And I'm like, this can't be real. So she said, I think the picture was semi-reasonable. I think a good consultation would have steered her in a decent direction. But didn't she go like 3 times?
Yeah, she said she went 3 times, and she said the first time was great.
She was like, and then I asked them for highlights, and I wanted like Jennifer Lopez, and she ended up with like orange highlights and then super blonde, and then like something dark and blah, 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 blah. So she was like, hey, can you come back and fix it? And they were like, okay, sure, whatever. And then for some strange reason, she asked for layers. And the picture that she sent me, I can't even do. Here's what I've never understood. A one length is something that you have to practice all the time. She didn't have a straight one length. It was jagged. It was shelfy. It was just shattered.
Her hair was just that texture though also.
It was thick and dense. I
Very
mean,
coarse. Was it curly or like?
No, she really didn't even have like a wave to it. But her hair was like one of those, like if she were to grow it really long, it'd be lush or whatever. But like short, to the shoulders, there's not a whole lot you can do with it. And I said, you have to cut it. I was like, you just have to kind of cut it as it grows and be stuck at this length. And she was super happy with it. We actually ended up just coloring her hair dark because she also had a lot of gray. I mean, she had gray and it was resistant. So I'm like, that on top of like coarse, wiry hair.
Already resistant.
So joy to work with. She was wanting extension. I'm like, girl, at your length, you're going to need a lot of hair with your density. She sang. She probably still sings my praises to this day. I kind of wonder where she's at. But she was like, somebody like complimented her hair or something. And she was like, oh my gosh, you should see where I came from. Then she starts inching your way with your client, who also came from Ulta. And what was her story?
Well, her story was really sad.
She won, though, in the end.
She was a really sweet client. She had never had extensions before. She was just like, I just want to do something. I can't remember if she was turning 40 or whatever it was, but kind of plain Jane, doesn't wear much makeup. Pretty lady, super sweet. She's just like, I just want to do this. I'm
Assertive,
like, okay.
but quiet, too.
Yeah. I love her. So we put in 2 rows of 18-inch. So they weren't terribly like long on her. And I told her, hey, I'm not going to cut off a lot right now. We're just going to shape them up, cut off like the initial, like I usually just do about 1 inch around the perimeter. And then, shape it up with her hair. And she was like, okay. And I said, now just leave it long because this is a lot of money that you're spending. And, and this was like on a Wednesday or Thursday. And I said, wear it for the rest of this weekend. I said, if it's too much hair for you, if you still feel like it's too long after you've washed it a couple times, or if you're not used to it, let me know. You can swing back by. I'll trim off more.
Yeah. And I think that's a good rule of thumb for anybody that has
yeah,
new
because
hair.
you never know which way it's going to go. Most of the time it's, I wish that I wouldn't have cut this much off, or
Absolutely.
I wish that I would have bought longer, or so, it's like you're spending all this money, just let it wear for a few days or a week or whatever.
Especially because you need to see the reaction. I think that people have like initial like weave scaries is what I call it. They're just worried people are going to notice and see. And I'm like, you typically get when it looks good, you get a positive feedback to your length. And I think that encourages people
I mean,
to
some
keep
people
it.
are haters. Like, she's too old to do that, or whatever. Who does she think she is?
Like that one client, she goes,
so,
am I too old to get extensions? She was like 38. And I was like, every client was getting extensions. And they were like 50.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They look great for their age.
No,
but I was
yeah.
just like, if I could disclose that, I'd be like, girl,
I hope if I'm 80, I could still get them.
50. One of them, we still don't know how old she is. We think she's in her 60s.
Yeah, I'm perplexed over it.
Love
Anyway, long story short, my client could not wait. She was going out to dinner with her husband. She went to Ulta to get her makeup done. Okay, so she goes, she said makeup was gorgeous. And she said, all I wanted is, can you trim off 1 inch to 1.5 inches?
Reasonable.
Girl.
I mean, hair was long.
Down to, past her chest.
Past her cleavage.
Down to here. Yeah. I mean, so she messages me Monday and she's like, okay, so something happened. I was thinking,
fell out.
Right. She's lost a bead or two, or maybe
tight.
she brushed it tight. Yeah. She said, I went here and I told them to cut off 1 inch to 1.5 inches because I wanted them a little bit shorter. I tried, I knew that I wasn't going to like them, and I was already there having my makeup done. I wouldn't have, wanted them to do it at any other time.
I wasn't scared to contact you. It was convenient.
It was just convenient. Correct. Yeah. She was just like, I was, in there getting products and makeup. She said makeup was beautiful. She texted me a picture and I literally screamed. I did.
That's hard to get a reaction like that out of you.
I didn't like scream bloody, but I was like, oh my gosh. Like, it was like crazy. And Josh was like, comes in and he's running and he's like, what? It's to here with 2 rows of extensions in.
And that's the thing too.
It's to her chin.
And she's told the story to me because I said, say it to me again. I don't understand.
I'm like, how did this just happen?
Because when you meet her, she's gotten used to longer hair and it's big and it's luscious and she takes care of it. And she said, I don't know how she got 1 inch up to here.
I mean, sure. All of it. Her real hair, because her real hair was about to here. She just wanted a little bit longer, a little bit fuller. So now her real hair with 2 full rows of extensions is to here.
Yeah, because they cut her real hair. I forgot that
Yeah,
part.
because they just cut it all. And I'm like, I'm like, girl, what did you do? Why didn't you just say stop?
Because wasn't there something weird? Like she wasn't like really facing the mirror.
She said she wasn't facing the mirror. And then she said the girl would extensions are hard to cut if you're not used to cutting them.
Yes.
First off, she cut them all wet. She shampooed her hair, cut them wet. And then they cut a lot different than our hair. I mean, they're hanging horizontally. Our hair is all like round. So they're just hanging at different degrees. So
their natural fall does not follow the natural fall of hair.
It doesn't.
Even when you place them well.
Right.
So that's why you can't do that.
Right. So then I think she just kept going up and up and up and up because she's trying to just give her cutting it all around one nice length. Then she tries to put layers. I still am confused at this story, but it did happen. And I'm like,
yeah, I don't think there's ever a time I've seen anybody who knows what they're doing cut extensions wet. Like that just never crossed my mind.
I've never done it. That was one of the first things that I was taught, like never do it.
Yeah.
So, and
don't
maybe
cut
they
them when before a move up. Because some people ask me to cut their hair and I say, if I cut this and then move it up, it's
going to be it's going to be a lot shorter. So she does all that. And I said, well, what are we going to do? What happened? She said, well, actually, I got escorted out by management and they said that they were going to call the cops on me.
Yeah, because she was like, I'm not paying for this
Yeah.
and you need to pay for my hair. And they were like, you need to get the hell out of here.
Well, no, all she said was, I'm not paying for this haircut.
Yeah.
Like, that's all. She hadn't yet said,
It hadn't escalated.
I just paid $1,400 for these extensions and now they're to here. She didn't even say that. She was just like, I'm not paying for this because this isn't what I wanted. And they were like, we have, our policy is if you refuse to pay, we call the cops. And she's like, well, call them if you have to. I'm not paying for it. And they wouldn't let her leave. And then I think the management finally just escorted her out. And then her husband came in and paid for the haircut.
And she's sweet too. I'm just like,
so nice.
That's like when somebody arrests an old lady. It's
I
like
know
she's
it.
80 in a moo-moo. What is she
Yeah,
gonna
what is she
do?
really doing? Yeah.
Like she's littering. It's like, what? Get out of here, bitch.
She's littering.
Yeah, but she ended up winning.
She had called Ulta and was like, I have to have some sort of something for my hair. Like some sort of... She's like, I literally have the receipt right here. I just paid all
I
this
can
money.
provide proof.
Right.
Like,
She was
this isn't me
like,
trying to get a freebie on you. Like, I'm genuinely upset because like this is new.
I still don't understand how they did it, but okay. She did only get one row paid for. They only paid for one row. They paid for half.
Ass. That's ass. And she had to go to corporate, and they weren't responding. Like she
No.
actually had to go through 2 or 3 more.
She said she talked to the president. Mm-hmm. I'm like, dang.
Like that's how it reached.
Yeah. She was
she
like,
was
no
like-
one was willing to do anything at all.
Yeah, she
And
was
I
like,
was
they
like,
kept
ooh.
dodging me. Mm-hmm. At least she got $700.
Well,
back.
no. So they kept dodging and dodging and dodging. And then the president finally gave her the information to their insurance company. The insurance paid it.
Dang.
But still only half. I'm like, man, come on now.
Y'all got the supplies to do that.
Exactly.
So here's where the stories meet the middle. So my client
oh, yeah.
is
Talking about,
talking about her experience at Ulta, and she's like, look at where I came from, but she's like inching and inching and inching. And I don't know if I was there for that appointment or not. Maybe, I think I was. So how it was is we had the table or
the three. It
was 3 stations,
Our
but
old
we-
salon, we had one long countertop.
Yes.
Just
and,
one long, super long, and with the mirrors, and just because it was a small salon,
and
so that was
she
our
kinda
space.
was sliding over, but how our chairs are, it's you actually don't sit very far from the
I already
counter.
knew. I saw her inching over just a little bit. She would just put her hand on her hip a little bit more this way, and she just kept inching closer to me and my client, and I'm like, here we go.
So she's basically touching knees, pelvic to knees. What did your client say?
She said, do you mind?
And we're just like, ooh.
I said, oh, yeah, she's already mad about she's like, yeah, I went there too, and now I'm here, and this is my time. This is the time that I'm paying for. And I was
It's always these small, petite women that are quiet, because I'm like, the other one.
Oh, yep. She said the same thing before too with the other client who we don't know her age. She did say that. She was like, is my appointment going to start soon? And I was like, whoa, yeah, it is. And honestly, I appreciate it, because I'm like, I can't tell this girl to leave. This will be going on 20, 30 minutes after her appointment's over. She's still wanting to talk about her hair. And I'm like, the appointment is over.
Well, yeah, because we try and tell
at
them
this
politely,
point-
hey, I got to move on. My client's here, and it just doesn't register.
Yeah,
Some people
she's
are
already
like,
paid.
Oh, okay.
She loves her hair, already paid. And me, I'm just super aware of my surroundings. If I even think someone's waiting, even if they're not waiting on me, I'm leaving, or I'm just trying to get out of the way. Just because, I don't know. Some people are like, it doesn't matter about whose appointment it is. They're still gonna make it their appointment. I don't know.
Yeah. So be confident. Another recurring theme in the podcast. Be confident in what you do, because I'm like, cut extensions when you're going to get effed up.
Yeah, that was, I still have never seen anything like it. And I'm sure I won't, because I'm like, I still, that was a crazy one.
That was a crazy one.
I've never had any, I've had some weird extension stories myself. I've done some weird stuff.
Ooh,
I say weird, bad. The first time I tried to lighten hair extensions, that was a disaster.
Someone did not believe me that you shouldn't try and lighten
No, you
hair
should
extensions.
not. No, you should not.
And she got lucky too, but what's funny, so she had clip-ins and she was like, oh, just try it, I don't care.
Oh, you really can't with those.
So I don't know what was going on with the hair. No, it actually turned out better. It just didn't match her hair. It lightened 2 shades, but it smelled horrible. And when I tell you, like, I left lightener on and I was watching, I'm like, it didn't fry it, it didn't do anything, but it just didn't lift. And I mean, I left it on there for like an hour and I was like, this didn't move.
It didn't even.
It did not do anything. And like at the very top, you can see where it's original colors and it's just like a shade and a half light. And I'm like, I still have the hair extensions in a bag.
Let's see them.
I'll bring them. I'm just like, what is this? It's just the weirdest smell. Yeah. Well, hair horror stories.
Oh, well, we always have them, but
Yeah.
it's nice to talk about our own that we've had.
Weird extension stories come from, I've had like 3 clients who try, actually probably 4, but I can't confirm this with the 4th one. It all comes from them having sex and getting their hair pulled out.
I can't.
And they don't want to admit it. One girl did because they literally had bald spots. And I said,
I feel like that they just want to talk about it.
if somebody ruins your hair because of a sexual escapade, I feel like it is your right to Venmo, request them, or just, I mean, they injured you.
But it's like, what's really happening here?
I don't know. It reminds me
I'll
of
never
like,
forget a girl that I used to work with at the South Salon. I helped her, had to comb out mats. It was all on the back of her head. I'm like, dang, what happened? Girl said the same thing. I've just been like having a lot of sex with my boyfriend. I'm like, okay, whatever. The stylist literally goes, well, why don't you like get on top or something? Because it was all matted right there. And I was like, I mean, she does have a point here, but it's like, why even say that?
it kind of reminds me of like, oh, I loved, you know, the ethnic circus, the soul circus. And there was always this girl that would like hook her hair on the plane and like spin around. I'm like, is that what y'all are doing in the bedroom? Like you just spinning on a ceiling fan on the pogo stick. But anyways.
Well, but I think that like I was saying that they just want to talk about it to sound like that they're just like, yeah, like crazy, sexy, whatever. And it's like, okay, well, but
Go
just
have fun playing with a door stopper. I don't know. Anyways, I guess we'll leave you with that tip of the day. To preserve your hair, get on top. Try not to be a toaster strudel or a Twinkie, cream filled. Anyways, we love you guys. Bye.
bye.
My saddle.